And hello, everybody. Welcome to Diva Dads, episode 26. I'm Dana Martin. I'm totally thrown. This is what happens. Oh my god!
Showtime! Hello, I'm Beetlejuice. No, I'm Rodney Bettis.
I'm Mike Kilgore.
And I am so impressed right now. I'm Adrienne Dobson, and also my parents just walked in the door. Wow.
Amazing.
Rodney.
I don't even know what to do right now.
How was your week?
It was great. I took the day off. It was awesome.
Oh, God, that sounds great.
It was so awesome.
So what prompted this look?
Well, they were doing a little charity golf tournament in Navasota, and they reached out to me and asked if I would be Beetlejuice. I actually reached out to Adrienne. I'll make this all right. They reached out to Adrienne, and she put it out into the verse. Anybody want to do Beetlejuice? And I was like, ooh, 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 ooh. So I put it out there, and then I didn't hear anything for like weeks and weeks, and I was like, well, they must have found somebody else.
Oh no!
But then I got a text message a couple weeks ago, and it all worked out. So it's pretty cool. We had fun. I got to make fun of golfers and take some pictures, and it was fun.
I love
the
that.
makeup was done by Taylor.
Oh, nice!
I was gonna say you have something here, not so much here or here. Right here.
It's syphilis.
That's pretty scary.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Hey.
Hey guys.
You're not invited, but you're here.
Hey, he's got the good stuff though.
Tomorrow is Halloween. What plans do you guys have for Halloween tomorrow evening?
So I might need your help on this. So I have a very cute Woody and a very cute Buzz. Who are going to need some sort of Halloween activity. So far I have 5 houses lined up where we're going to go have a socially distant Halloween exchange. Ryder already knows that he's supposed to say, trick or treat, give me candy.
You can come to my house because I'm going to trick or yeet stuff to the curb.
Yes, send me that address. You will be on our
What
roof.
is
I'm
trick or
excited.
yeet?
Nice.
Trick or yeet.
Yeet.
Come on, get with the vocab, man. You need to hang out with the TTC teens every once in a while.
Oh.
Apparently, I get a little bit of pre-Rocky 5 practice because the bar that's literally a stone's cast from the house here is apparently going to be doing the time warp. It's called Pink Elephant. So I'm going to go on the rooftop and do the time warp again.
Nice.
Do they know who you are?
I don't know. I'm thinking about going on and say, do you know who I am? Did you know that I was Eddie?
You should probably text your agent in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking a non-professional show up may not look so good. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they figured out that a social influencer like you is living in the neighborhood now. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Dana, what are your Halloween plans?
I'm prepping for Disney World. So, yeah, got all kinds of stuff and ordered my bottom and top for the show next week or 2 weeks, whatever it is. So I don't have any big plans. Just trying to get everything in order while I'm here because next week it's jet set.
Yeah. RIP all of the live shows at Disney. Armane was posting about it because she had a very special relationship with the Finding Nemo show, but all of the equity performers from those shows have officially been let go, which is really sad. Yay, theater news. In positive theater news, Benjamin Michael Hall's show Spooktacular is looking great. I did the whole Instagram takeover thing this week and had way too much fun trying to act like I was a lot younger than I am. But their show is tomorrow night at 7:00 on YouTube. It's free, but they're asking for donations, and everything goes to the Boys and Girls Club in Huntsville.
Awesome.
So watch Spooktacular. It's going to be awesome.
Very nice.
And then who wants to talk about our theater news?
We have theater news?
Yeah, kind of a big announcement. Thanks.
Dana, what's
Am
going
I supposed to
on?
know this?
I'm terrible at this. Why do you make me do this? We are having a Rocky family reunion, and I'm so excited. We've got, I don't know why my hands are doing this. Probably because I'm excited. It's folks that have been in Rocky before. If you've paid attention to social media, we've been sharing a teaser video with who's playing the principal characters of the show. If we're not on stage being the principal, though, that means we're in with the Phantoms. And I was just talking about this earlier. I am excited that I get to be a Phantom.
And a bottom.
I swear. Okay, well, there goes my little boom. There goes pop the bubble.
It's gonna be awesome, which is the Rocky family reunion. Sorry, Dana, is why we have the guest that we have tonight. Also, so a guest that's gonna be coming up. People, don't worry about it. Paul Early is coming on. He's just not coming on yet because his schedule is very, very busy, unlike ours. But next week, and she might be watching tonight, but I might have secured our original usherette.
Oh. I don't know who that is.
I know, y'all don't even know, but Monty will know. Our original usherette was 16 when she did the show.
Wait a second. What?
Is that okay?
Yep. Yeah, that was probably not a great idea, but she turned out okay. She's great. She's great. And as long as we don't embarrass ourselves too much tonight, she's going to be our guest next week.
That's awesome.
Oh, man.
And I'm going to miss next week.
Oh, that's true. Well, then, Dana, embarrass yourself all you want. It's fine.
100%.
Yeah. So, a Rocky family reunion. We haven't posted all the details yet, but it's going to be a drive-in experience in the parking lot of the theater company. Tickets are going to go on sale hopefully by the end of the weekend. Like it's happening, guys. You can also pre-order your cocktails. Sorry, I just got excited because I was looking at my cocktail. You can pre-order your concessions. Rodney and Mike, I hope you don't mind, but I did some creative arranging with the packages that we allowed. So the smallest package that we offer for like a drink and a candy is Brad's package. The next size up is Rocky's package. Okay. So that's like 2 drinks, a popcorn, and a candy. But then the biggest package in the show is Janet's package. And that's 4 drinks and 2 popcorns and 2 candies. So if you have like a full car, you need Janet's package.
100%.
So, yeah. So
I love it.
You're welcome.
Frank just gets left out.
Well, we discussed it. We had an in-depth discussion last night. We talked about like really who's got the biggest package, and it's obviously Janet. So
obviously Janet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So that's anything else anyone want to say about Rocky?
It's going to be cool. It's going to be a drive-in, so that we're going to show the movie. In addition to having the cast, and School of Rock is going to be there, and they're going to provide all of the rockin' background or accompaniment or whatever, and it's going to be a fun time. So there's not going to be a whole lot of seats because of the way that the world is. So whenever those tickets go on sale, you better snatch them up.
Yep. Only 3 shows, very limited seating / car spots. So you'll need to get them real fast, and it's going to be great. And that seating is going to be quite a show. The cast is being masked. I think the way we phrased it was like masked and in the flesh and in your face or something like that. But yeah, we're keeping it as safe as we can, but we're going to make it a party. All right, Mike, what's next?
All righty. Tonight, guys, we have I get to do this one. Our correspondent on the street, Roger Pine, with his breakdown of Newsies. Yes.
Oh my, you did it. Wait, where's my share? Okay, perfect. Dun, 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 dun. Roger Pine breakdown.
Newsies is a show I have never seen. I know it's super popular, or it's super well marketed. I see Disney on the poster, so maybe it's just really well marketed. But I know people love it. I don't even know what a newsie is. I know it's like a kid related to the newspaper business. Do they deliver the papers? Do they sell them? Do they bring information back to the newsroom to write stories, like their sources for news? I don't know what a newsie is. So it's going to be tough to guess the plot. But I'm going with like it's a Sandlot sort of thing where you've got like a ragtag group of newsies and they're up against a professional group of newsies who are like better funded and have nicer uniforms and stuff. And they compete to be again, I don't know what a newsie does. Maybe they throw the newspapers with the best precision or something. And we just learn about this team of newsies that just does a great job, and they win out in the end.
Okay.
Doing what newsies do.
I mean,
Just a skosh off.
yeah, he got really close. Really
Did
close.
he?
I mean, he was going down the right path, and then he took just a really sharp left.
He knew that the news was involved, and that was about it.
When I heard, I was about to say to myself, or say out loud, don't say ragtag bunch of, and sure enough, a ragtag bunch of. I'm like, that's so Roger. That's perfect.
It's so lame. Dad, you said you saw Newsies. You liked it?
Yeah, that was a good play.
Better than Cinderella?
Yes.
Yes. It got the Mark Dobson seal of approval. Yeah, no, Newsies is a protest show about these kids who sell papes on the street in New York. It was a movie that I idolized as a kid. So in the Spooktacular Instagram this week, someone asked about my dance training, and I was like, I watched the Newsies and a lot of Michael Jackson videos as a kid, and eventually took dance lessons. No, Christian Bale in the Newsies, that movie is spectacular, and why it took so long to make it into a stage musical, I will never understand. But yeah, cheers to Newsies. It's one of the greatest shows ever. And full tea, Newsies was set to be part of was hopefully going to be part of our season next season. Choreographed by Hannah Shadanian, who has choreographed it or was set to choreograph it for another theater over the summer, but then obviously COVID. But speaking of Hannah Shadanian,
I saw pictures.
little sweet Bear Campbell Nevin was born today. So cheers, Bear. Do you want some tea on that?
Sure.
They don't have family in town. Like, they've got theater family. And so like a while ago, Hannah said, hey, we hate to ask you this, but could you possibly be on call? Like, if we have to go to the hospital in the middle of the night, can we call you? And I said, yes. And so the past couple of days, they had like one scare where I was like, all right, let me know. I'm here. So she called me yesterday at 5:30 in the morning. I didn't wake up.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Adrian, you had one job.
One job. I didn't wake up, but they're with the kids went to their friend Lyra's house, and they were okay. Bear's great. She gets to come home on Saturday. Everything's fine. But I was like, I had one thing to do, and I failed. So drink time.
Yeah. All right, it's time for a cocktail. What did I call this, Dana? Cockroach juice? I don't know.
Yes, cockroach juice.
So I had to kind of do this on my own because what I really wanted to feature was one of my favorite cordials, to Waka Waka Waka. So I had to do this on my own. It's one of those things that people like to drink by itself, and it's delicious. It's one of my nighttime cordials on the reg. Keep it in the freezer and just pour it over a little bit of ice and let it mellow a little bit, and it's phenomenal. But there's not a whole lot of cocktails made with Waka. Most people shoot it or drink it as a cordial, and so I had to do some experimenting. I experimented a lot this afternoon.
Uh-oh. How drunk are you?
I'm fine. So anyway, I'm gonna start with. So this is actually a departure from what I decided. I started out with the base spirit being gin, but I decided that the earthiness of Scotch would be better. So I'm gonna put a shot of scotch. Shot of scotch, and I'm going to have a shot of waka waka waka.
That used to be Ryder's favorite toy. We have 2 wakas actually. That's what he calls Fozzie Bear. He just calls him Waka.
Oh, I thought that was
not scotch. Although, okay, he dropped the F-bomb today.
was that a Tia?
No, I swear, I'm so careful around him. Meg took responsibility because 20 minutes later he says, "Damn it!"
Yeah, it was a Tia thing.
It was not my fault.
Yeah.
Tell that
We're gonna one thing about the waka. It's really sweet. So we're gonna cut the sweetness a little bit. We've already done it a little bit with the scotch, but we're also gonna do it with some Kahlua. So I'm just gonna put half a shot of Kahlua in there. And you'll notice these are all very dark, kind of like cockroach. And then I'm gonna put some orange bitters. Orange is part of the makeup of Tawaka. It's one of the essential things in there. So a couple dashes of orange bitters. And then they're going to get your pint glass, and you're gonna shake it.
We all dressed on theme again today, guys.
Work it on the thing. Oh, sorry. All right, so then you're going to get your strainer and strain it into a glass with some fresh ice cubes. And I probably should double strain this, but so this is my first taste because I should double strain it because whenever I shake it like this, there's little shards of glass, so you get kind of a slushy out of it.
Shards of ice?
Hmm.
You said
No.
glass.
Shards of my soul, Dana. Yes, shards of ice. Okay, that's good. That was a good move on my part to substitute to switch out the scotch for the gin like that. Yeah, I'm starting to get good at this.
But who can trust the judgment of Beetlejuice?
Lydia
Hey.
Deep trusted the judgment of Beetlejuice. That's who. Yeah.
So that's my cocktail. That's my cockroach juice.
Can we rename? That sounds terrible.
Yeah, we can rename it. It just needed a holiday Beetlejuice theme. So
Okay, that was yeah. We'll rename it.
I'll come up with something else.
Perfect. All right, Dana, you're up.
Oh, awesome. So
Every time.
What? We have a very special guest. And that special guest, as far as I know, was in the very first Rocky. That he was our very first Riff Raff. And I'm excited. I need to pull this up real quick so I can actually bring him in. Here he is. Monty. Monty is coming on the show as we speak right now.
So, Monty,
Why do you make
David,
me do this and introduce at the same time? Hello, Monty.
Hi,
Monty.
Monty. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're great. How was your day?
It was not bad at all. It was very boring, as an accountant's life is. But you know what? That's a good thing in my world.
Good. So tell these dads who you just met this evening a little bit about yourself and who you are and how we know each other.
Yeah. So I attended Texas A&M Whoop from 08 to 12, somewhere around there. So in that time frame, Adrian and I did many shows together, starting with Jekyll Hyde in 2010. I did like 4 shows that year, and then on until finally my last show at the theater company was Rocky Horror 1, and I want to say 2011, somewhere around there.
Sure.
So that is how we know each other. Since then, I have graduated, moved on, become an accountant, become a boring person. You know, don't do as much theater as I would love to or want to. Live in New York City with my husband. But yeah, that's kind of me. And Rodney, by the way, I love the costume, man. That's insane.
What
How long
costume?
did it take to
Costume. I woke up like this.
I'm so sorry. I was just curious how long it took to glue all this stuff on, but
So the deal is I watched all these YouTube tutorials about how to do Beetlejuice makeup, and I was like, yeah, I could probably do that, but why do that whenever I've got people, theater people? I've got these like talented people. So Taylor Christensen actually did this for me, and it took her like maybe half an hour, and I think part of that half an hour was because we got locked out of her house. And we had to like find a way in.
Oh my God.
It was fun. I mean, it was a beautiful day with Taylor. But I was like, that didn't take very long. And she's like, yeah, that's kind of the deal. If you do theater makeup, you learn how to do it very fast. And I was like, so yeah, it was great.
Monty, how has your pandemic life been? I know you were partly in the city, but then part of the time you escaped to Texas. What has it been like for you?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know me or don't know, I'm from a little place called Sanger, Texas, which is north of Denton. So if you know Denton, you keep going up north before you, exactly, before you get to Windstar. But after Denton, there's this tiny little place called Sanger, Texas. There, that's where I'm from. I spent 4 months there in my childhood bedroom, which is great. My parents are lovely people. We had a good time. But waking up every morning in your childhood bedroom with your husband and your dog is just not like where I saw my life going when, I made my New Year's resolutions at the end of 2019. So did that for 4 months. My joy every week was going to Total Wine because we don't have one of those in New York City.
What is Total Wine?
Oh, it's glorious.
Big liquor store.
So take specs, but then add a lot more wine. So they have the liquor section. It's wonderful. It's not as large as Specs in terms of the liquor selection, but then double the amount of wine they have.
I just got judgment from my dad that says, you don't know what Total Wine is?
So when my wife goes to any other town that has a Total Wine, Austin, whatever, for work, she comes back with a couple of, cases of some fun goodies from Total Wine. It's a wonderful place.
Yeah, so if you haven't been, you definitely need to go. So Drew, who is my husband, and I, every week our joy was to go and just drink our way through the cab section. So I've tried pretty much every Total Wine cab there is. If you need if you want to check in on if something's good, or if you just want to know if it's worth it, I have a list for you. So that was all fun. That was all well and good. I can work remotely, so I have had no interruption with working. Thank God. I count myself blessed for that. At the end of June, Drew just couldn't take it anymore. Hanging out in Sanger, Texas, there's only so many times you can walk the same field with the cows. There's not that much to do. And so we came back to New York. I live in the Upper West Side on 75th Street, for anyone who knows the area. And have been here since then. So yeah, the city is starting to come back to life. When we first got back, Times Square was dead, the Upper West Side was dead. Now we're back to I go to a restaurant and I can't get into the restaurant, so that's my barometer for knowing that the city's back to life, and that I hate it again. I liked it when no one was around. So
Speaking of restaurants, so the last time I saw your face is when I got a surprise FaceTime 2 weeks ago. And it was from Kate Mitchell and Lindsay Lewis, and you and Drew were out to dinner. The only reason you called me is because you wanted to know what?
I don't remember, but I was 3 mezcal margaritas in at that
point. You wanted to know the status of Cafe Excel and where we could still get a strawberry tart in College Station.
Absolutely, I want to know that, and I still want to know that. I just need text updates, honestly. I'm if it changes, I need to know where to go, because if I ever end up in that city, that's my first stop.
Oh, that's the last time we had dinner was at Cafe Excel.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I feel like I did update you when La Bodega went under, when that thing went away. I feel like you knew that. So Cafe Excel, I think I told you, is no longer Cafe Excel. It's Public and Main. Mike, you went.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a big, huge hangout. Ping pong tables, wine, beer, drinks. Yeah, it's cool. It's actually a cool hangout. Yeah.
But are there strawberry tarts?
They do, yes, actually. And also the new burger place that's their concept too has them as well.
Burger Mojo is a drive-through and it's really good. And I know they have strawberry tarts.
Okay.
So it's okay. You can come visit. Ooh,
Like a strawberry tart, do you?
Oh gosh, they both get a point. Ugh.
What's funny is when I was there, like Cafe Excel was like date night place, right? Like it was kind of classy. They tried to at least be kind of classy. You know, the strawberry tart was the nice way to end like a meal where it was like carb heavy. Now, like drive-in burgers and then a tart, that's a way better experience.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's not first date. It's like 2 years in.
I messed up one time and tried to do a first date at Cafe Excel in College Station, and I got told that was taking things too fast. And so I got dumped before the first date. So yeah, Cafe Excel, not the best first date spot. You know, gay dating in College Station, tricky to begin with already, but you know, that was a mistake apparently.
Fabulous.
Well, we want to get started. Oh, good. Linda Bendixson apparently just got a strawberry tart from Mark. Yay.
I like it.
All right. Well, we have questions that we've collected from various people. Mike, would you like to start?
Wait, I'm confused because I feel like When Kate Cries was supposed to happen in here somewhere.
Oh my gosh, that's right. That's my fault. Okay, so normally we do this segment before we bring you on, but I wanted to do it with you because it has something to do with you. So we're going to do When Kate Cries, if I can find this one.
Skipping stuff apparently happens to everybody.
Oh.
Yeah.
Even if you're the one that put it in there.
It happens. This was a last minute addition. Now shut up. Maybe.
When Kate Cries. Hey everyone, happy early Halloween and almost election day. I hope you all voted. If not, you should on Tuesday. I wanted to do a special When Kate Cries because it's actually a time that I went and saw a Brazos Valley Players show with Adrian and Monty in it and several others. It was Cabaret and Adrian was the MC, which was iconic. And I loved her in that role, first of all. Second of all, Monty was one of the Kit Kat boys. And I remember there was a scene where he had to kiss Kent. And there was this like electrical charge in the room. And it was a really sad moment for all of these emotional reasons. And I just broke into tears. I still remember this kiss. I still remember how impactful it was and how many things were said when no words were spoken. And I think that that's something that's really powerful about theater. I've always said that theater's the best way to show another person what it is to be a person and help them escape themselves, whether it's for a few hours or, you know, change their perspective on something for their entire life. And that scene in that show really changed me. And so, of course, I leaked a little bit. Love you all.
When Kate Cries. So Monty.
Leaking.
I don't know. I don't like her choice of words, but
well, we never like yours, so
Even burn.
So Monty, this segment started a few weeks ago with Kate where she wanted to offer moments where theater has made her cry. Does anyone remember her first episode? What she said?
Lion King, right?
When the giraffe entered.
Yeah, just when the giraffe came in. Yeah.
So like the first 10
she
seconds.
said nothing about the poor little cub losing his father, but it was, oh, that giraffe.
Well, that's because actually that was kind of poorly done on the stage version. So more than anything, you're like, well, this is lame. So yeah, she did a special one for you today with Cabaret, which I also remember that kiss.
I thought I had forgotten about it, but deep in the recesses, now you brought it forward. Thank you so much. And with that, I'll pour myself a whiskey, but you know what? It's fine.
So I know that you don't do a lot of social media, but has Drew let you know that I've been spamming your Insta story today by tagging you in various photos from your theater history?
He hasn't, because he just got home and like cooked me dinner, as a dutiful wife should. And so, you know, that's all we've interacted with today. But I also haven't been on Instagram in probably 3 years. So I don't think I have any followers, so I don't know if your spamming was successful.
It was successful on our end, and it was also successful for me personally, because now you can't get mad at me because you don't know what I'm talking about.
I often don't know what you're talking about, Adrian, so that works out well.
Yay, neither do these guys.
Yeah, same.
Okay, Mike, sorry, now you can talk.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Love it. Okay. All right, Monty, we're going to kick it off with some questions here. And just first one here is, how did you find the theater company?
Oh my God. I was actually thinking about this because I knew you were going to ask me questions about theater company. So as I said, I got there in 2008 and didn't have any friends and didn't really, I was very new to the whole city. I came as a sophomore, and this annoying commercial played over and over again for Cinderella. Adrian may remember this. With Sarah Miller, who became one of my very best friends in the entire world, just prancing around on stage, and that annoying song, I can't even remember which one they picked from the show. Impossible. Yeah. And it just kept playing over and over again. And I had done theater in high school. And so I was like, you know what? This just keeps coming on. They're doing Jekyll and Hyde. That sounds dark. That sounds fun. And so I just kind of showed up one day, fully intending not to do the show, but just to kind of see what it was about and see if this theater was any good and any fun, all that kind of stuff. And immediately fell in love with the cast of characters who thrust themselves upon me during auditions, and was never allowed to leave until I graduated and said, guys, I have to go get a job. And there was some debate even at that point, but they let me go eventually.
Not willingly.
So you mentioned like you did theater in high school as well. So can you talk to us a little bit about like how you became involved in all of this sort of thing at an early age or what have you? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, so I've always been a music person, not an actor. I was painfully shy as a kid, and so I was like a violinist, and then I sang in like church choir a little bit as a kid. I was a violinist. I moved from Denton to Sanger, which is moving from a small town to a smaller town. They didn't have an orchestra. I got into band because that's just what you did. I hung out in band for a couple of years, clarinetist, whoop whoop. And then senior year, they got a new choir director in our tiny little town, and he was like, I just need men who can read music. I can't have a choir without men. You're the only kids in school who know what a quarter note is. Can you please just come do this for me? And so me and a couple of my buddies it's senior year, whatever. I don't want to take art and I need another elective. So let's just do this. So we did choir. That man, Dusty Thomas, was a ex-music theater person. And so kind of introduced us to that world as part of choir. Figured out very quickly that singing was my true joy in music. I love it to death. I thought about doing it full time and then realized that that was probably not the best path for me. But yeah, so he did Sanger's first and probably to this day only musical. We did You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. Nice. And so I got to play Snoopy, and for an audience of 30 people. It was lovely. And from there I was just hooked. I wanted to do more and more of it. And so when I got to College Station, the theater company offered the opportunity, and it was, in the history books after that.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's exciting. Did you know anything about Jekyll and Hyde, or you just knew that it was dark?
No, I had no idea. I'd watched one YouTube video, but back in 2008, YouTube wasn't even that big. It was just a couple of Funny or Die videos that they'd stolen and put on the platform, and that was about it.
Yeah.
So no, I did. I had no idea. But I had seen This Is the Moment, I think, and I was like, ooh, that's a fun high song. So I'm for those of you who don't know, I'm a tenor, and I live for money notes, and so I was like, okay, there's some high notes in this show, so I'll do it. That's fine.
Nice.
And then you got stuck with us. So then you moved away. What is the best and worst thing about living in Manhattan?
Oh, I mean, this is probably obvious. The worst thing is the cost. It is just stupid how much I pay for everything, and it sucks the soul out of me. And what I've noticed about living in Manhattan is for people who grew up here, it's very Stockholm syndrome. They just don't know any better, right? They just think that this is what things cost. And so when you talk about an apartment that wouldn't go for less than $1 million, they don't bat an eye. They're just like, yeah, that's fine, right? Like, it's a basement apartment, like no natural light, like you kind of share it with somebody else, like $1 million seems reasonable. And when you tell them that, like, no, there's this wonderland called Texas where everything is cheap and we have land, a lot of it, and you can have some of it for not that much money, it just doesn't register until you like take them out and like travel and go show them. So the worst thing is absolutely the cost. The best thing, this is nerdy, but like I'm a banking guy. My career is in banking. It's the finance capital of the world. So from a career standpoint, obviously it benefits me to be here. On a more personal note, having Broadway and walking distance is not bad. We don't take as much advantage of it as we should. And I know that now because it's closed and I don't have the option. But the lovely thing of like, hey, I'm going to take off early today. It's Tuesday. You want to go see if we can like rush a show is wonderful, right? Like you not everyone gets that opportunity. And so that's really fun. I've had some really great nights on just random going and seeing like, what was that show? The show about Percy Jackson. Adrian, you'll know this. Come on.
The Lightning Thief.
The Lightning Thief. We went and saw The Lightning Thief. It was like $20 a seat. We got front row. I have not laughed so much in my entire life. I'm not saying that's a good show. It's not.
I was going to say, were you drunk?
Yes. I should tell you, all of my stories include alcohol. No, but it was just we've never laughed so hard in our entire life, and like the cast knows it's not a good show, right? But they're just like, I'm doing this because it's Broadway, right? Why wouldn't I? So there was a lot of eye locking as they had to do the moments that they did not want to be doing. Of like,
oh no,
you understand why I'm here? I'm like, yes,
oh no. Yeah, that was one of the shows that was really cheap when I was there last, and I was like, do I really? Nah. Could have seen it for like $30, and I said, nah.
So Monty, are you at all tempted to continue performing?
I would absolutely perform if I wasn't surrounded by people who are trying to do this for a living and who couldn't blow me out of the water. Adrian knows this about me. I'm a scoosh competitive, just like, a little bit. And I don't do anything that I can't win at. And so while I think that I am pretty talented, especially a whiskey or two in, I don't think I'm as talented as anyone within like a 10-foot radius of my apartment. And also, I just, with my work and everything like that, it's just really hard to balance it all. New York is not forgiving at all on that. If I move back down south and they could work with, hey, I may miss a rehearsal or 7 and it's going to be fine. I'll learn my lines. I promise I'll show up on the day. It's going to be good. I would absolutely do it again.
I think Monty is my spirit animal. He makes reference to wanting to win. He's made 8 references in 5 minutes to drinking whiskey. Monty, you are my spirit animal, 100%.
Perfect.
So wait, tell us a little bit about Drew. Is he still performing, or was he still? Yay, Drew!
Drew, he was actually in this room just a second ago. He's coming. Come on. Come here. Get on here. He's not happy. This is Drew, everyone.
Hi, Drew.
Hello. So what do you want to ask, Drew?
So performing, is that something pre-COVID that you were still pursuing as well?
Interesting question. Life changes when you get married.
So it's Monty's fault.
Always. Everything is always Monty's fault. Because that's how marriage works. The thing is like we moved to the city when we were engaged, but graduating from a conservatory like MSM, Manhattan School of Music, and then having to pay for graduating from a conservatory like MSM, makes you kind of reevaluate like what's important, what am I going to do? And the thing is I realized like I love performing. He and I actually met at a cast party of a community theater production. That's how we were introduced. So it's been a big part of both of our lives, and especially for me. And then I realized, and this was in 2019, I think I enjoy a little bit more stability, and I'd rather do it because I love it, not because I want to get paid to do it and stress about that. So there's been a couple of side things, and he and I have both been a part of, like, there's the New York City Master Chorale. It's an auditioned chorus here in the city, and we did that. We both participated in their cabaret evening. This one did an amazing rendition of My Unfortunate Erection from Spelling Bee.
Yay!
Amazing. So, and the last thing I did on that was a gender bending Bring on the Men from Jekyll Hyde.
Bless.
With striptease, don't worry.
With striptease, yes. So there's pictures on the internet available.
Awesome.
Yes. So if you're both just, my mom's listening to Bring on the Men right now. Oh, it's because I put that in the Insta story, Monty, with your pictures from Jekyll and Hyde, and she's watching that from the other room. It's like, I just heard Linda Eder. Hold on. But since you both love doing it for fun, if we're putting on another virtual event for the holidays, would y'all do a duet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the right duet, yeah, absolutely.
Well, y'all tell me what you want to do. That's how this works. What do you want to sing?
Say Lily's Eyes or
It's holidays. Let us confer.
Okay.
Maybe it's cold outside.
Baby, It's Cold Outside.
Yeah, that was the Glee version of that song is the first thing that came to mind. I was like, no, that's too cheesy. I'm gonna.
We'll let you discuss amongst yourselves and get back to me on that.
We'll pray about that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You mentioned being walking distance from being able to see shows. What's your favorite show that you've seen on Broadway since living there?
Since living here.
I know the answer to that.
Well, I'm trying to remember. It all blurs together of like when we lived here versus just visiting. I think we were here during Comet of 1812, right? We lived here during Cabaret.
Oh, I was going to say Hadestown.
It's between Hadestown or Comet of 1812.
And what do those two shows have in common? One
director.
badass director.
I didn't know that, but you know me. I don't know facts about things. So
I know. Drew's got me.
Yeah. The details are all with this one.
Same
No, but both of those shows were transformational in the way they approached things, in the way they made theater accessible to like a wider audience, right? Like, let's be honest, a lot of the shows, I'm looking at you, Frozen, pander to the Ohio housewives. So like, we're going to take a theater trip to New York, right? Like, we all know it. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm an accountant. I love making money. So do those shows. Great. But those shows like had a great mix of like, this is accessible. You can understand what's going on. You can be in the story, but also like it is beautiful storytelling. And so, yeah, both of those hands down.
Who was the Pierre when you saw Great Comet?
Josh Groban.
Oh my god.
So, which I typically don't love his voice.
I like him either.
I know, but him and that. Yeah. Like I recognize him as a very talented individual, just not my taste. But him in that fit perfectly like a puzzle piece. It was wonderful.
I came back to see it right before it closed and I never remember his full name, but Oak, Hercules Mulligan from Hamilton, he was the closing Pierre, and I went back to see him. And what was funny, I think that was my first night in the city on that trip, and that was the first night that y'all took me to Marie's Crisis.
Oh, may it open again soon.
Was that when we saw, what's his name?
No, but I have a question about that later because I want us to tell that story.
You're gonna ruin it.
Sorry. Okay.
You're gonna ruin it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, Monty, what is your favorite TTC memory?
Probably being fired. Adrian, I don't know if you were in the show. I don't think you weren't in Big River, right?
No.
So I was a student at the time, and on Tuesday nights is when the Mays Business School does their mass testing, right? Like every 6 weeks or so, we have a big test. Everyone comes in, it's like 500 people. It's a big thing. And so we're in rehearsals for Big River. Tuesday night dress rehearsal was like the first dress rehearsal. And I had told Randy about this. I mean, and this was like my fourth show. Like, he knows the system. He knows how it goes. I was like, hey, man, this is my test night. I'll be here when I get here. I take tests fast. It was fine. I guess that was just the dress rehearsal from hell. Like, everything went wrong. There was stuff broken on stage. I was the Duke in that show, and so I kind of orchestrate one of the dance numbers. And without me there, it just didn't work, which makes sense.
None such.
Yeah, the none such. Yeah, exactly. So I rush to the theater, get dressed, like put on my suit, and I'm hanging out. I have an entrance with John Paul, J. Paul, like walking down the aisle. And so I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to slot in, right? Like they're going to keep the show going. Well, I'm there with J. Paul. Randy stops the show because something is going wrong and just goes on one of his very Randy tirades, like Whataburger cup in hand, and just starts talking about nonsense. And at some point says, and Monty's not here, and I can't believe that, and it's just not professional, and he's probably going to be banned for the next 3 shows. And I'm just, and like everyone has seen me just standing in the back. Randy doesn't know I'm there, and just is like staring awkwardly. And so then he just starts a show, and I walk in with the rest of them. And he never said a word. I was not banned for 3 shows, but that was just my favorite little moment of like, oh, okay, so that's fine. That's cool, man. All right.
He did. He would ban people for a year. Only a few people were banned for life, and only like 1 or 2 of those actually stuck.
Right.
But yeah, he would ban people.
Willy-nilly.
Yeah. Yeah, depended on the day. Like you said, one of those tirades, you didn't know when it was coming, but it would come. So the next question, this is perfect. What's your favorite memory with Randy Wilson?
Probably being fired. I think it was, I was Mary Sunshine in Chicago. And so for those of you who don't know Mary Sunshine, you sing like a soprano coloratura song, which is the only reason I wanted to do the role. And Randy, had he been 10, 15 years younger, would have taken the role himself. Yes. Like, wanted it, needed it, it's fine. And so he and I had the song is very much like you stand and you sing. It's a park and bark. And so the rehearsal for that song was just Randy, me, and the pianist. Like, there was no one else around. We were just in the little lobby doing our thing. And I could never recreate it. But the acting that I got to see Randy do in those moments of like putting on his best glam drag queen persona of like, this is how I want you to do this song, and I want everything to be flourished and whatever, which I never pulled off, right? Like, I was like a little scared kid from Sanger, and so I did my best with the song. But just watching him like act and really act and like put on a character was really fun, because I don't feel like we got to see that a lot. He was always directing, he was always kind of moving us around, and you would get little glimpses, but that rehearsal was him being like, this is my role, I just can't sing this part, so I'm going to imbue that upon you.
Wow.
We've talked about that with him a few times before, how Randy was very quick to jump on stage, whether or not you needed it, to demonstrate certain roles. And that went for Mary Sunshine, that went for a lot of iconic female roles. I can't remember what context we were talking about it. It might have been something with Cynthia, but yeah, he was like, no, let me show you. And you didn't need any help, but he needed to have that moment in there. Just for him.
That was also the only show that I saw. Maybe he did this a lot more than I didn't realize, where like he had hand sketched drawings of the costumes he wanted.
Very rarely.
Very rarely. And the Mary Sunshine costume that he designed was like runway gorgeous. Like, had we been able to create it, it would have been the most beautiful thing that had ever been on the TTC stage. It would have been like a Balenciaga type gown. I ended up in an 80s prom dress, but that's fine.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did that compare to the costume that you wore? Check the TTCDivaDads Insta story right now.
You don't still have those pictures, do you?
Of course I do.
Oh my God.
We love having the stuff that is prior to our arrival being spilled, the stuff, the tea. And we've all had opportunities to get involved in TTC prior to when we actually did, and we kick ourselves that we didn't. On that note, though, what is it that you missed most about the theater company in Bryan College Station?
Oh God, so many things. Candidly, I mean, that was so like the theater company is where I really found myself, and that sounds really cheesy and sounds, you know, very deep and emotional and whatnot. But like, it's true, right? Like, I came to the theater company a painfully shy child, and many parts about college make you grow up. It wasn't just the TTC, but TTC is where I got to be myself, let my stress out, meet my people who were my people. And I just miss the camaraderie, I think. That's what it really comes down to, whether it's rehearsals, whether it's performances and pulling together, whether it's IHOP afterwards, because that's literally the only restaurant that's open. I don't think that's true anymore. But back then, at, you know, weeknight rehearsals, 10 p.m., IHOP is all you got. Just the wonderful friendships that you made, and like pulling together to say like, we probably shouldn't be doing this show, right? Like, this is a big show and this is really hard, and maybe we don't have all of the talent that we need to pull this off, but we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it well. That literally was what I was thinking of, but it's fine. That's a perfect example. That's a master show. We had wonderful people on stage. We had a ton of fun. Should we have done that show? Maybe, maybe not, you know, I mean, but we had a great time doing it, and we were all better for it, hopefully.
I think so. That picture is also on our Insta story. You're welcome.
If only I could be that thin again.
He was literally in black spandex, like a full black spandex bodysuit.
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
That's a leotard, and those pants are from Forever 21, because I think it was you and Sarah who dragged me to the mall and like, we need pants. I was like, well, we could try Express, you know, like they got some nice black pants. Like, no, we're going to Forever 21, extra smalls. I needed basically Crisco to get into those things.
I'm pretty sure that was under Randy's instructions. Randy costumes the like entire Keep It Gay scene. It was perfect.
And is anyone surprised? No.
No. Dana.
Oh, so we know, or who? Sorry, I messed that up. Who? So yeah, we have some, you know, stuff that we kind of keep to ask, and I always mess it up. So I just did it again. But Monty,
Yes,
who
sir,
do you
Dana.
miss most from TTC?
Well, I would be remiss to not say Miss Adrian Dobson.
Oh my goodness!
We knew it was fishing. We just could feel that she
You
was
just
fishing
wanted
for
me to
that.
say that, so you would get.
No, I know how much Monty misses me because I know how much I miss him.
No, honestly, you know, especially Adrian and I were like it was like a slow burn to build our relationship up, because again, real shy coming in. Adrian's maybe not shy is how most people would describe her. At least when I was there. I don't know if it's changed. And so she very much intimidated me, right? Like, it was so fun to watch her on stage and to see her do her thing. But I was like, I'm gonna keep a 10-foot radius from her and her energy. And so it took a while for Adrian to like break through my wall to be like, I'm safe. I'm a safe person. But by the time, actually, Adrian, you may not realize this, but my last night in college, like my last official night in College Station, I spent with you at Northgate.
Oh, do tell.
We were chasing a man for you at that time, as we so often were. That was we were chasing a cute neighbor boy at the time.
Oh
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I know. He's married now.
It doesn't matter. He doesn't matter. What matters is the fun we had chasing them, which is half the fun is the chase, right? And I just remember, like, literally, it was like my last night in college, and I chose to spend it with this girl, trying to make sure that when I left, she was going to have more fun after I was gone than before I was there. So
Wait, that's really funny how many times you did attempt to help me in that way. Because before we started recording, we were talking about the summer of Hairspray at Halo, where the entire cast of Hairspray that was allowed to spent way too much time at Halo, drank way too much at Halo, and there was a very attractive former Marine bartender at Halo named Ryan that Monty tried all summer to help me out with. And when I finally had the guts to ask him out, I got a solid maybe.
Oh no. Hold on. That's a diva burn right there.
It was
Diva burn.
He flirted with me all summer though, Monty, and you know it.
No, I don't think that like he was turning you down because he didn't want to. I think there was other circumstances going on. To this day, because
you don't have to be nice.
No, I'm not. I'm still mad about his reaction because he flirted with you shamelessly all summer.
And he was a bartender at Halo, so those might have been the
straight.
extenuating circumstances.
He was straight, and the gays all affirmed it. So
That he was a heterosexual man who knew that he could make a lot of money by taking his top off.
yep. See,
Well,
guys.
Texas Halo, if it's the downstairs bartender, usually straight, upstairs bartender, always gay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Good to know. Yeah, thanks.
Good to know.
If that ever comes up for you or like your children or anything, like just that's a
Guys,
fact of life.
Need to make some extra cash whenever they reopen.
Okay.
I
Sounds
gotta
good.
go to the gym a whole lot more.
And use that oil on your hair.
Yes.
Anyway, okay, so I think there's only one person watching online right now.
I think so too.
There's not. There's a few, but go ahead.
There's a few, but the one who's engaging with us is Linda Bendixson. And so do you have a message for Linda Bendixson?
When I think of Linda Bendixson, the first thing I think of is our performances in Cabaret and her sitting in the front row and just like, Cabaret has a lot of themes underlying everything, right? So like, it's a beautiful show. There's a lot of good music. There's funny parts. And then there's like very serious Nazi themes kind of going throughout. And Linda Bendixson, bless her heart, was loving the show, enjoying everything. And then when we would have like one of those like lines that hits on like a theme, like a real moment, she would just like nod her head emphatically or like, yes. And so like because I think it was like opening night, I remember, and I may be getting these memories all tumultuous in my head. We were all so nervous because we didn't know how the show was going to play. And so she was just front and center. She was well lit because of just the way the lighting was. And she was just loving everything about it. And I appreciated that so much, being in my tight pink pants, shirtless, being like, okay, somebody's having fun. Somebody's not just looking at the little jiggle on the side. Somebody's actually listening to what we're saying. So thank you, Linda, for those moments and many, many others. But that's the first story that pops to mind when I hear Linda's name.
Yeah,
Well-
she's one of our you've at the theater company, you've got audience members, and then you've got great audience members, and Linda is one of those like great audience members. Like
100%.
she's totally engaged. She's laughing at right spots, not just whenever you're like falling and stuff. But
Great,
we love
great
us some
in
Linda.
theater. This is all great in theater, but has anyone ever seen a movie with Linda Bendixson?
No.
No, I haven't.
So Linda at a movie does the same thing. Yes. Oh, right. Yes.
Oh, I hope she joins in After Dark. I have to ask her about this.
Oh, she's letting us have it in the comments. But she wants to know why you haven't come to see her, Monty. She probably
Yeah.
also wants to know why I haven't delivered a drink to her, but that's another story. But go ahead.
I want to hear that story after this, but no, College Station is not the easiest place to get to, gentlemen and lady. I really wish there was a direct flight from New York to College Station. It would make game days a lot easier for me. But I get back maybe once a year, and it is a blitz of like 8 hours of it is tailgating in the game because it's always around a game. And then after that, I got to get back to Houston and get on a flight again. So there are many, many people in College Station that I would love to spend time with. and get to visit with that I just never get the time to. But hey, I'm around. I'll not this season, but next season, I'll be back for more games. So reach out. Let's set up dinner. Let's go get a strawberry tart. I mean, I hear there's drive-through ones now, so it's good.
Easy.
Well, hopefully at not Cafe Excel. Gosh, I'm really sad. Like, I'm not really, going out to Cafe Excel anyways, but it makes me really sad that place is no longer really what it is anymore. All right, that's enough. Sorry.
Okay, Monty. This is more of a statement. Christy Vick says she enjoyed doing Big River with you. So I don't know if there's more to that or
just wanted to send some love.
Some love.
She is one of the most lovely people I encountered with, and like her little soirees at her house. Not that there were many of them or anything. There's no real story to that, but they were just lovely experiences. And I do remember a specific brunch at her house that she invited me and a couple other people to. That this is weird, but it was a little bit of a rough time, and like she just showed kindness, and it was like impactful, even though it probably shouldn't have been. So cheers to Christy Beck. She's a lovely woman.
Monty, you were already gone when we did this show, but when we did Best Little Whorehouse in Texas most recently, she played Angel, and she was so good. I don't think that's what she expected when she showed up to that audition, but she was amazing. She was amazing.
I love it. I love everything about it.
So, Monty, have you been able to watch any of our virtual events thus far?
I'm real bad with technology. What are you saying?
He watched Rain on Me because Kate went to his house to watch it.
Okay.
I did watch that, and that was superb. Superbly produced. Everyone in it was fantastic. Like, I loved it.
So, do you remember our Simba in Rain on Me, that did the Lion King, the little guy?
Yeah, adorable. I loved everything about it.
All right, so his name is Parker Greer, and he's already a star, but he's certainly a future star. This question is from him, and he wants to know, how old do I have to be before my parents should let me watch Rocky?
He's 9.
Wait, are we talking the musical or the movie?
I feel like I don't know which one is worth. I've been spending a lot of time with the movie recently, and I don't know which one is worse.
I'm probably a bad example because my parents let me watch Scream at 5, and that shaped probably most of the rest of my life. So I think that if he wants to watch the movie, he should present his case, right? Just like pull together a fact-based case, because that's who I am as a person, and just explain to them why it will benefit his life and theirs for him to watch it.
Oh, I thought he was coming over because he had something to say. Do you have something to say about seeing Rocky Horror at a young age?
No, I just wanted your cat.
Okay.
Mark is the best. Oh my god.
I didn't see Rocky Horror at a young age, but I will say I knew what the time warp was, because every year at Piazza, Texas, all of their Halloween shows had the time warp, and I was like, well, this is just great. What is this from? That's what I knew of Rocky Horror until I saw it eventually.
I think that was another one that I did see at least parts of it as young age, because I wasn't monitored. No one was watching what I was doing. No. There's a lot to unpack there, but it's very confusing. So what's the young man's name again? Parker, what I will say is you should wait at least 3 or 4 years so you can at least understand the movie. Because me at 31 is still confused by some parts. So
I don't understand it.
Give yourself a chance, give yourself 3 or 4 years, and then you can try to enjoy all of it at once.
Yeah, like the plot.
Yeah, that's loose to begin with. The costumes help carry that along,
Monty, so we talked about Dana and Mike's parts in Rocky, but I don't think you know what Rodney is playing in this year's Rocky experience.
I don't. What are you playing, Rodney?
Act 2, you're...
I'm the narrator, or the criminologist? Narrator. Whatever they are.
I've never heard it called criminologist. That's interesting.
It's from the movie. That's what they call it in the movie.
Yeah, the movie.
Okay.
But in Act 1?
I'm going to be Rocky.
I love it. Sword of Damocles is a great song. So
Oh, I can't wait to sing Sword of Damocles. I'm not super excited about the costume, but because I'm a man of girth.
as we all are these days, it's COVID. We've all got the COVID-19.
Yeah, it just happened, right, Rodney?
It just happened. Yeah,
Just happened.
over the last 9 months it happened. No, but yeah, it's gonna be like Sword of Damocles. I'm super excited about singing. So, in fact, whenever we looked at the Adrian sent out the script, the movie script. It's kind of different and all this stuff going on, and she had all of these things like mute the movie, mute, off to the side. And whenever I first read it, I was like, is she muting is she allowing all the musical numbers to be played by the movie? Like, I am offended. This is me offended that I don't get to sing Sword of Damocles. She was like, no. That's up. I was corrected, but at the time I was pulling out my inner diva, like, oh no, I'm singing Sword of Damocles.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I would start a petition for you, Rodney. I want to hear it.
I appreciate that.
It worked. He's singing it.
Very successful protest. There we go.
So, talk to us a little bit about your Rocky Horror experience. Rocky 1.
Oh, my Rocky Horror experience. Well, it was Rocky 1, so it was let's throw this together and see if it works, right? Randy, there was no audition. I don't know if you guys auditioned these things. There was no audition. Randy just kind of handpicked people to say, let's just try to put not even the best people in terms of talent, but like people who will just gel together. Let's make a cast that like works.
Wait, what are you saying?
Nothing. No, but not that everyone on stage wasn't talented, but when you hear no auditions, like Randy was just trying to put together a show like with a bunch of people who would have fun doing it, because that's the only way Rocky works, is if everyone on stage is having a blast. And it was my last year there, so this was my swan song, and we didn't know if it was going to work, right? Like College Station, especially 10 years ago, it's a different place now, but back then it was still very like, okay, are people going to show up? We're going to do like a midnight showing. Is that going to work? Is anyone going to show up other than my mom? So it was, we just kind of threw it together. Sarah Miller came up with an insane set because she was designing all the sets back then. And that helped.
What we called it? Because it was the same set as Sound of Music. So it was the Sound of Horror set.
Yeah. And none of us knew what to expect. Y'all may still do it this way. We didn't have sheet music with parts. There was just the sheet music with the pianist had what they needed, the orchestra had what they needed. But in terms of like just the melody, and so all of us are listening to the CD over and over again, and those of us who are more musically inclined are making up parts and coming to rehearsal and being like, guys, I think we should try this. You three come with me, you two go over there. We're just gonna, and sometimes what we would create would clash. That wasn't beautiful. I think a lot of that ended up on stage. That's fine. It works out. But it was just fun. It was just us just trying something new at the time and having an absolute ball doing it. So I loved it. That was my favorite show at TTC by far, because the cast was incredible. We had a great time. The show is just fun to do. Riff Raff is a dream role, just in terms of you get to just be so creepy and weird. And anything you do can just be like, oh, that's such an interesting choice. Like, I love it. When it really is just like, maybe I forgot my line, or maybe I didn't know where I was going on stage, but it's all fine. Everything goes.
So how did you do It's Astounding? Like, give us a little bit of that.
Yeah, give us a few bars.
I was not told I would have to sing. I think I just did it. Oh God, so many years ago. I just did it really creepy. Like, it's astounding. You're trying to do the whole, like, just real forward, real nasal. My voice was not the same after that show ever again.
Thank you for that.
You were the first Riff Raff, so you were the one that was stuck with the bald cap and the awful wig. And because costumes have grown, we've evolved. So like Riff Raff last year was in like this amazing red mohawk. He got to wear like
think Rufio of Hook. That's that's really
incredible.
What it reminded me of. It was
fantastic. The year before we had this like very luscious vibe with a bunch of crushed velvet. Everything was very like glam drag. And then last year it was like this 80s punk rock theme. So we had like tagged the set. Everyone was in like rocker stuff. We had Reiley looking like Bowie. I mean, last year was really cool. This year we're going for this Mad Max like street gang vibe since we're kind of all out. It's gonna be interesting. But yeah, when I look back on those first pictures, it was just like, oh man, we were all over the place those first 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like half the costume, Randy was like, okay, so like we're gonna need a white button down, just like basically with no buttons. And then I just remember like grabbing like 4 necklaces from my little like personal thing at home and be like, I'm gonna put all these, like we're just like throwing things together. Absolutely. And you know, throwing the show together as well. And it all worked. I think it worked well.
It did. It all worked. Rocky 2 was when it almost went like more off the rails as far as like the Phantom costumes, because we had Chris Arisman, who is going to be in this year's production.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's coming in from Austin. He was in these like black and white polka dot bell bottoms, and then we had Wyatt, who like did his makeup like the Joker, like Heath Ledger, but was wearing an Elvis wig in like underwear and a purple jacket. Like when I look at the costumes from Rocky 2, it's like, what the hell happened? I don't know.
Well, in our cast photo for Rocky 1, isn't Randy in some kind of like Santa suit or something?
Not in the Santa suit. He's in the red suits that John Green, okay, when we did Follies, which was Mark Bendixson talked about this show, Randy had John Green hire, because he was a pilot back then, he was going back and forth to China all the time. So he had this little Chinese family create all of these. Yes, she's here.
It's like my husband's in there, so I don't know why this door is opening. This door's to the outside. Hello.
What's up?
We had all of these like red suits made for Follies for this big dance number with Mark Bendixson, and as a present John had one made just for Randy, and so Randy wore it to Monster Bash 2 years in a row, and he wore it to Rocky, and somewhere I have a picture of him because he had this like weird fur stole, this like half stole that hung over his shoulder that he would wear for Rocky, because Randy loved Rocky.
Yeah,
he loved it so much. Winston,
this is when Winston was saving our lives, so
oh my God, Rodney, you look amazing.
Thank you.
Apparently he's
okay, well, this is perfect because we have all the right people that we need. Okay, Mike, give us this question.
Okay, all right. It says, okay, Monty, bring Drew back first of all.
Drew, we need you.
Isn't Drew the best?
Tell us about your friendship with Oscar winner
Rami Malek.
Rami Malek.
God,
why did we give that question to Mike?
Hey, come on now.
So, for those of you who don't know what Marie's Crisis is, Marie's Crisis is in the West Village of New York City. It's been there for God knows 100 years. Factually, it is the home where Thomas Paine died, right? Like writer of Common Sense from the 1700s. He died there. There's a little plaque outside. What it is today is a little basement bar where they have shoved a bar in the back, and there's like mirrors that haven't been cleaned in 100 years that have kind of some kind of like patriot theme to it. So it clearly it didn't start as this. They've shoved a piano on one side. They have all the sheet music stacked in the old fireplace, and it is a show tune sing-along bar. The pianists play show tunes continuously. Everyone sings along. Occasionally a waiter will sing. That's when we get our extra drink. So it's just a wonderful, lovely place. It's like karaoke on steroids for Broadway lovers.
And it's as narrow as like the dressing rooms. Like there's no space. It's so narrow.
You're not allowed to like film and stuff. Like it's a very like, they run a tight ship, and it's like, it is its own like brand. It's incredible.
Yeah. And the lovely thing about Marie's Crisis is there are so many people in the city who have made it or are trying to make it that just love to sing. And so no matter what night of week it is, you'll find Drew or I there, or people like us who maybe aren't pursuing careers in music, but have a pretty good knowledge of what it is to sing and what it is to do all this. And the music that is created in that bar on any night but Saturday. Saturday night is the basic bitch night. Don't go on Saturday night.
Haven't we been on Saturday?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think I would take you there because I'd be too exhausted about the line.
Yeah. Saturday, it's gotten more popular over the years. It's in a spot of the West Village that people know about. So like even people who don't know what they're getting into will just get in line because like it's a bar, let's go. But any other night of the week, you can just hear gorgeous, incredible performances from people who have just been drinking hot toddies all day. Nice. So that's what Marie's Crisis is. Fast forward, when Adrian comes to town, obviously we're going to Marie's Crisis because where else can we all get together and sing?
Also, it was her Cinderella birthday. So like at midnight was when her birthday was about to happen. So we were like, let's do something to like ring your birthday in.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, and you don't want to get to Marie's before 10. Like you're there 10 to 4 or so. So we're there and I don't remember who noticed this lovely man and these other 3 people just kind of hang out in the corner, very poshly dressed, you know, nice pea coats, whatever. Turns out one of them is Rami Malek, who had just won his Oscar.
Hadn't won it yet.
Oh, hadn't won it yet.
The movie had just been out.
The movie was out, that's right, for him playing in Queen. Like he was the lead singer, Freddie Mercury. And so he and his girlfriend and another couple were just hanging out. His girlfriend wanted to go.
His girlfriend was his co-star, Lucy Boynston.
Yeah.
And the person that was with him was the bass player in the movie was the bass player for Bohemian Rhapsody. He was also the boy that was the child in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And also made out with Lindsay that night.
Lindsay Lewis's number. True story. Anyways, I feel like that if somebody asked me, sorry, this is not my night, but
wow, you've already had your night, Mitchell. I don't know what.
If somebody asked me like what is the like quintessential like magical night in New York, it was this. And like, I mean, I'll be honest, like truly I felt it more. I was so grateful to share it with all of these people that I'm so close to, but I was so excited for Adrian to be getting this while she was in New York.
Yeah.
The whole night I was just like, yes. And so her birthday came, it was midnight. And I was like, happy birthday, Adrian, really loudly so that Rami Malek would turn around and go, it's your birthday? Cheers, it's your birthday. He also complimented her singing voice. So
The volumes are really good.
And we're like, never sung before.
We did have this moment where he was like, what do y'all do? And I was like, community theater.
In Bryan, Texas.
I think that is like a great story and really highlights what the theme with Diva Dads and these guests have been, which is that even though you may have some sort of beginning or start at TTC, those relationships, that community, as you stated, Monty, and as you did as well, Miss Kate, that lasts forever, man. Like no matter where you're at, and so you guys had this great experience in the middle of New York City with Adrian, all of you TTC alum. Like that's amazing to me.
Yeah.
And then he won an Oscar.
Yeah, then he won an Oscar, making our story even more important. But no, that's been really rewarding for me because I had a couple connections with Monty, and then I moved up to New York, and I was like, hey, do you want to hang out? And now I watch every Aggie game with him. I'm always here on Saturdays watching the games.
Arkansas. Tomorrow.
Gotta have some pulled pork tomorrow.
No, I'm saying they're going to play Arkansas tomorrow.
Oh my God. I mean, sometimes you're a little bit of a wild card.
So. She was gonna come through that screen at me.
I knew where you were at, Dana. I'm with you. We're gonna win by 14 at least. It's gonna be great.
We're wrapping up like the interview portion of it, but before we do that, do you have any sort of message or final words for like our extended theater company family?
Just to all of you that I did shows with or was, around, thank you so much for the time and the experiences. They have shaped more of me than I'm probably proud of. And, I'll never forget my time at theater company. I'll never forget the shows I got to do or the people I got to do it with. I really love all of you. So thank you so much.
And you should vote.
Yes, and please vote on Tuesday.
Terry Dobson, do you have any message for Monty? Oh, she misses your Rocky Horror character.
He, as Riff Raff, going up to those high notes. I mean, hello.
Also, is that a burn to David?
Sounded like it to me.
Oh, David doesn't watch our show. It's okay. We can burn him.
No, it does not. Okay, Mark Dobson, any words for Monty before we end his interview? No.
This is quality programming.
Yes. This is why we have 14 people watching the show right now. Thank you so much, Monty.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This has been fun.
All right, Monty. So we've got one more segment before we roll into Dads After Dark. So because Kate's here and she has such a problem with my DC fetish, I'm going to invite Bad Dad to come in and introduce this new segment.
Really?
Right. So it's time. It's time for the Jennifer Reilly Fun Fact of the Week. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Don't ever say that again. I swear to God, I'm going to mute you.
Every time you tell me not
it's
to,
Jen
I'm
Reilly,
going
your
to.
fun fact correspondent, and happy spooky season. As most of our viewers know, these episodes are recorded on Fridays, which means that tomorrow is Halloween. So I had to share a Halloween fact, and that is the origins of the jack-o'-lantern. And in fact, they were not originally carved into pumpkins, but into turnips. So it's based on an Irish folktale, and I'm not going to tell the whole story, although I would encourage anybody to look it up because it is fascinating. Basically, it revolves around this guy named Jack, who, over the course of his life, cheated the devil a couple of times. And so when he died, God wouldn't let him into heaven because he was a cheater, but the devil wouldn't let him into hell out of spite. So instead, he gave him a candle and just kind of sent him on his way to walk the earth. And so he put the candle in a carved out turnip, and people would tell stories about seeing the ghostly Jack of the Lantern around town. And that is where the story came from. When the Irish came over to America, they brought the folktale with them, and that's when the switch happened from turnips to pumpkins. And today we have jack-o'-lanterns. I hope you all are having a wonderful week, and I can't wait for this week's episode. Until then, I hope that everybody has a spooky, spectacular, and safe Halloween. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.
Awesome.
I love her fun facts. Can you imagine carving a turnip?
I don't even like carving pumpkins. I think that is the lamest tradition ever.
So I learned something the other day. The internet is a great thing. They said don't cut the top off of the pumpkin. Cut the bottom off of the pumpkin. That way you can just set your candle down and then put the pumpkin over the top of the candle. That's genius.
Don't carve pumpkins. It's messy and pointless, and they rot.
Every party has a pooper. That's why we invited you.
Yes.
I thought that's why we invited Mike. Wait, side note for Mike. So we had a meeting this week about Rocky V and all the marketing and all of that jazz. That Dana was bummed that he wasn't invited to, but he knew it was happening. So we have this meeting, and I make fun of Mike and the fact that in the vocal line, if I were to isolate him in any Diva Dads episode, you would get a series of like, that's crazy. Oh, it did it. And a bunch of like where he just stops talking. Guess who was ready to gossip like the best of them? Mike didn't shut up for like 3 hours on Wednesday night. He wanted all the tea, and we spilled it. We spilled it.
I'm just more of a face-to-face person. I'm old-fashioned. You know?
We're face-to-face. That's your face. This is my face.
I love that. He's like Anchorman. Like whatever you put in the outline, our show outline, he's going to read. Like bring Drew back.
I'm sorry. Whatever
And
I put in the outline, he's gonna read. Who?
I don't read. That's why you had to circle back to the question.
Hey, we all did. I don't know when your mom's birthday is.
Happy birthday, Terry.
Happy birthday, Terry,
every
again.
week.
I knew who obviously Freddie Mercury was, but I did realize, is it Rami Malek?
Oh, shut up. All right.
No, I really don't. I really didn't know who it was. I had to look him up.
Did you not see
Mr.
Bohemian
Robot.
Rhapsody?
I've seen the movie, but I didn't know that was the same person.
You thought it was Freddie?
All right, now, come on. Yeah. Are we Dads After Dark or something like that?
Take us out, Mike.
Beetlejuice, take us out.
Take us out.
Okay.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, this is loud.
Read it too many times. All right, so now it's time for us to go from this show to Dads After Dark. And me, being the ghost with the most, likes Dad After Dark because I like the dark. So, thank you for joining us on TTCDivaDads. Don't forget to follow us. Don't forget to use the hashtag TTCDivaDads whenever you get the chance. Listen to us on your favorite podcast episode. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.